Hi, my name's Kellyanne Flynn, and welcome back to my podcast where have the great pleasure of interviewing the DJs, the amazing DJs of the 90s, where they shaped the generation of people. It wasn't only about the music, it was the electric in the room, and we are still talking about it now. And I am with the amazing Steeky. So, Steeky, thank you so much for agreeing, first of all, to talk to me. And I just really want to get across to people that didn't experience that club sort of society back then in the 90s. What would you say was the most, highlight of your 90s DJing?
Look, it's a long time ago, so trying to remember fine details of everything what's going on. But basically, I started DJing when I was about 12 or 13. So my brother was a DJ. He actually worked in Glee's brother's shop. So he had a set decks in his house, in the house. And I would have went on whenever he wasn't in, stole a few of his tunes, and then just basically became a DJ myself. It was like everything just seemed to happen all in sequence, where I was 16 in 1993, so all this new music was coming through, and I was just growing as a person at the same time, and it was like, whoa, what is this? And just the energy of dance music was completely different than what anybody had heard before. In comparison, like I was at school, like rock music and stuff, like Guns N' Roses and that type of thing, Bon Jovi and all of this, and then this new music came through just at the same time as the whole rave scene starting, and I was just like, this is a piece of me. Give me some of that. To say it's just the whole energy behind it, the whole ethos behind it, the community it built with everyone was just like unbelievable. And it was like a real movement or like a revolution for youth. And I think coming from Northern Ireland and the times that it was, and dark times in the early 90s, and this music was just bringing everyone together from all generations, walks of life, communities, religions. It was just like, it's hard to put into words.
It really is. But see, when you're chatting there, I'm actually nearly emotional because I can so relate, and I couldn't have put that better myself, of explaining that it was such a troubled time, and it brought communities together, and we were in this club that we didn't even know existed, and all of a sudden we were hearing these tunes that really affected our hearts and souls. And then it was electric, like it was.
Yeah, you would have been in, we used to go to Kelly's on a Saturday night, would have been the first sort of place I went. I think it was about 16, and I went one Saturday. I sneaked on the bus. There used to be a bus goes from Larne every week, from down the Fair Hill there, and one night, me and one of my friends just decided, we're getting on this bus. We'll go and see if we can get in. We were just down the town, walking around the Larne town, and we probably weren't dressed very well or anything, and we went, right, come on, let's go. We'll get on this bus. And we went to Kelly's, and Vertigo was playing. I'll never forget it. Just walking into the barn and just what is this? And the just pure euphoric energy, big pianos, big house tracks, all that Italo disco sort of stuff. And it was just amazing. And then to bring into the meeting people from different backgrounds and walks of life, like we're all from Larne. Larne's probably, well, it is a Protestant community pretty much back then. And you were walking in, and it was like, where are you from? I'm from, Ardoyne. I'm from, people you just would never have got to speak to. And they were hugging you, and, it was just like total mind blowing.
I absolutely love that because as I say, I can so relate. And if I was to, name my favourite place, it would definitely be the barn in Kelly's, and going to that big nightclub and going on the coach from the Europa Hotel and picking us up and bringing us down there was nothing short of one of my favourite and best memories in the world. And I just adored the music. I absolutely just adored and loved every single minute of it. From I went there until we were on the bus again to go home. You mentioned there that you're all from Larne, which is absolutely crazy to think that these absolutely fantastic, influential DJs have came from Larne, not to mention your fellow friend Fergie, who is a residency in Vegas, who is also from Larne.
It's so
what
funny.
Was it about Larne?
It's like the DJ capital of the world, isn't it? It's like, it's mental because there's so many big DJs that came out of it from that scene. And we all took it for granted then, but when you look back, it's like people like Robbie Nelson and Gleave and myself and Chrissy Davis and Fergie. And
it's just crazy. Like the list goes on. Like the only thing I knew Larne for was the Launceston Roar.
The road out, usually, yeah. I think there was very little to do back then, and Glee's brother Mark had his record shop, and we all sort of just congregated about there. It was actually Gleave or Mark and Robbie's record shop at the start, so you can imagine, they were a few years older than us, so they were right in the scene, maybe like in their 20s, when I was 15, 16, so they were bringing all this music, and we were, at just the right time, we were going, like, what is this? And then I remember going, like, DJing at, like, school discos and stuff, and just going in and starting playing rave music, and everyone just at the same time seemed to get it. So, which, it's crazy looking back and thinking about, because if you tried to do that nowadays, like go in and just play all this new music that nobody's ever heard before in your school disco, it's like people are go, what is this crazy stuff? But the whole movement just seemed to all just come together at the same time, and just, it was.
And what did you have? Absolutely love it. Did you? And it was a movement. It was literally a movement.
Yeah.
It was literally a movement of people, and everybody just seemed to love it. And what my biggest memory is the communities coming together, and everybody just coming together and loving each other. Where before then, in Northern Ireland especially, there was just so much hate, and there was so much, it was the time of the Troubles, you weren't really allowed to go into the city centre. I mean, I was born in 75, so you couldn't have really went into the city centre without maybe the chance of there being a bomb or whatever. So it changed with those times, and it was just amazing. It was amazing for the two communities to come together.
Yeah, I do think, it probably helped the whole peace process in Northern Ireland. I know it was going on in England and going on here, there, and everywhere, but for Northern Ireland, I think we really built something special out of it. And I think that's why we're sitting here today, 30 years later, 35 years later, still talking about it, still passionate about it. It was just something, absolutely amazing. I know he said about not going into like city centre and the Belfast and things. I think that's what made all the clubs around Northern Ireland out of Belfast so successful. Like Cleve and I would have done Charlie Haggerty's in Bangor, and then Coldwater and Larne, Circus and Banbridge. Nothing was in Belfast. You were scared to go to Belfast. So all these things and pockets all around the country that was happening, Portrush as well. It was just, amazing. Just when you say about going to Kelly's, we used to drive down, I used to get a lift with someone as well, and you could have seen the people that were going, and you were like, on the way down the car, you were like giving the thumbs up to people out the window and stuff.
That's right.
And it was like,
that's right. Look, you knew they were going, you knew they were going. That's right, that's right.
And they would have been, dancing in the way past you in the car and all, and like, it was like, you just wouldn't get it. I don't know. I'm still DJing now, 35 years later, and the generation now don't dance and they just sit on their phones and sit. It's weird. But again, just different times and different ethos in life, and just, but we were there and we done it. So.
We were there, we done it, and we've no video evidence whatsoever. Well, you have the odd video. There was video cam. You obviously would have video evidence.
I don't actually really.
No?
I don't. There's very little pictures, videos.
Like everybody was just in the zone.
Yeah.
They were just in the moment. They were living right there and then in the moment. I think that's what made it so special.
Like I went down whenever Gleave and I would have done Hegarty's on a Saturday night. We went down one week and walked in to go and start DJing, and Carl Cox was in the DJ box, and I'm like, what's he doing here? And it was like the promoter, he was playing somewhere else, and the promoter had put him on there first. So Carl Cox was on first in Hegarty's, and I was 16, come on after him. And it's now got 35 years later, I'm going, did that actually happen? I don't actually even know whether it really did, whether I dreamt that, but it obviously did. But yeah, that was the sort of things that was going on in Northern Ireland. And some people, people like Carl Cox, who would have came and done circus and things, suppose back then they were taking a risk and coming to crazy Northern Ireland in 1990, whatever, 93, 94. There was still bombs going off. There was, all sorts happening, and they were taking the risk and coming here. But I think that probably added to the energy of, us as a youth movement sort of coming up together. We really craved or cried out for something, different, and they probably tapped into that, coming across and going, oh, I need a bit of that. I know as a DJ, whenever you play to a crowd that's really passionate and real energy, and
you feel it.
You can't, you can't pay for that. So I don't know what it was like in England. Obviously, there was a massive rave scene, but I think just we had something a wee bit special, just with everything adding together.
100%. Yeah. Well, Steeky, I swear I've absolutely loved speaking to you. I'm smiling from ear to ear. I can't stop. I can't thank you enough. I'm so grateful. One of the best DJs in Northern Ireland. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much.